kingdom of God. This is where we're going. This is our purpose in this life. So we have everything here. We have everything, just like St. Anthony, just as he gives to each one of his servants. We have every single thing that we need, and we're lacking in nothing. We have a full purpose. Our purpose now is to be faithful. To be faithful in these things that we have here. To be faithful in everything. To be faithful in our love for each other. Well, first, our faithful in our love for God. In our acknowledging Him to be the Lord. The source of our life. And also, to have faith in each other. To support each other. Not to blame the others in any way. But for each one to look into himself and see, what can I do? How can I sacrifice more for all of them? For God and for all of my brothers and sisters. Who in some ways, in many ways, are closer to me than my own blood relatives. In many cases who are not in the faith, in the Church of Christ. So it is that we are able to sacrifice and give ourselves for each other as well. How important it is to support each other. How important it is to support the shepherd of this parish. Because he is given a burden. He's given a burden that is impossible for man even to think about or conceive. He is given a burden of the salvation of the souls of everybody here. And it's as if he's carrying, a huge cross up a steep hill. And as he gets older, and like as I get older, that cross is heavy and it's hard, very hard to go up that hill. So we depend totally, we shepherds, unworthy though we are in every way, yet still trying to do something to follow the will of God, the salvation of the faithful. Depend on you to come and take the base of that cross and carry it with us up the hill. To take it up the hill. To be faithful in everything here. To continue with the traditional worship. Not conforming the services to the desires and of this world, but keeping them for the needs of this world, for salvation, so that they're there, so that they're intact, so that every word, every example, every saint is lifted up. Every wonder of God that He has given for our salvation is proclaimed. And so that, because when we start cutting, when we start leaving out Stikira and saying, the people don't want to hear all that, we're leaving out what? The resurrection, maybe. We're leaving out the example of St. Anthony the Great. We're leaving out other glories that we need, and examples that we need to see in order to be lifted up for our own salvation. So we have the services that are intact. We must care for each other and always honor each other as those who are in the image of God and those who are essential for my salvation also, who are my support. We must also honor, as we heard in the epistle today, read beautifully by Christopher, that we must honor the shepherd and help him just as Moses had his arms stretched out for the victory over the Israelites, the people of God, over Amalek. And he couldn't hold them there himself. He could not hold them there himself. And they would fall down and they would start losing the battle again. And then he would lift them up again. And finally, he had those on either side holding up his arms so that the battle was won. And that's essential here also. It's essential that you realize, thank God for what He's given you, because you have everything here. There's nothing lacking, nothing at all. The church that was given a couple of miles away is a wonderful gift of God. It's a promise for the future. But it's not something that's essential. It's a gift. It's something beautiful. It's something in addition, so to speak. The superabundance of grace. And that's not where we need to keep our attention right now. The attention needs to be right here, because this is the place of God. God, the place that God has given you, and these are the people that He has given you. This is the shepherd He's given you. and to maintain, not just to maintain, not just to be faithful in what you have, but to go, to grow, to continue to grow, and to maintain. So the support that you have is a support for here. I've heard some rumors that somehow there's a fund that you have, a building fund, that perhaps is needed now for a building fund, for what a building fund is meant to be used for. And here I really, in a sense, am daring to stop preaching and start meddling. But I'm going to dare to do it because I've been part of this mission from the beginning, and I love it and consider myself a part of it too. So I'm going to say that what that money is meant to be used for whatever is needed in this parish, to build it. And it would not be going against the intention of the fund itself and what is given in it to be a building fund to build this church. We don't need necessarily right now to build a building. That's something that may or may not, God may or may not will. I think He does, because He's given you a place and He's provided. He's not just teasing us by putting something in front of us and then taking it away. But I think He will give it. But right now, the important thing is to support what you have here. To use those funds in however they are necessary to be used to support here. Certainly not to take away from the support that you have given, the meager support that you give to the priest at this point. That would be not faithful. That would be not a faithful thing to do for this parish. It's got to be faithful in order to be able to receive the next miracle that God has for you. There's no way this parish can save enough money in the next 100 years to have the $3 million that you need for the kind of church and place that you want. And you want it for good purposes, for the salvation of many, for your own and for the salvation of many. But there's no way if you gave everybody even gave a tenth, that you would be able to save enough in the next 100 years to have $3 million to pay for that. So God is going to have to give a miracle to do that. You have to wait on God for that. But in the meantime, be faithful. Be faithful to Him and be open to Him, because this is the only way that we're going to deserve here to have such a miracle. So, as you meet next week, I've heard that, again, I'm just meddling to some extent, but not really meddling. As you meet next week, come in oneness of mind. Come ready to support each other, to honor each other in every way, and to work together, to look what more sacrifice you can give. And I'm not asking people to give more than they're able to, but whatever sacrifice they're able to, so as to support what you have here, what you have right now. And then God will give you what it is that He wants you to have, when He wants you to have it, to have that wonderful complex there that will be also for His glory. Amen.